Unless you've been living under a slurtle mound, we all know that we've all been doing our damnedest to digest and work with Don't Starve Together's newest massive quality of life update here. From attempting to put all the important information into one showcase, to quickly realizing how futile that was, leading to separate videos swiftly, here I thought we'd be taking a short break after the Wolfgang and Ancient Guardian discussions, just waiting for the big hotfix to come. But no, foolish me apparently, as there have been 4, count 'em 4 hotfixes already, everyone. And they are not the ones you just ignore either. From the addition of a brand new mob to all sorts of crafting tweaks, this update just doesn't know when to stop. No, seriously, this was only supposed to be a crafting user interface change for Pete's sake, at least in theory. But in reality, this quality of life update has now added an entirely new mob called a Varglet, everyone. Essentially just a smaller Varg with a health pool from its solo Don't Starve counterpart actually. The thing still deals 50 damage a munch and replaces some hounds in late game hound waves now, so definitely be aware of that. Not each and every wave past day 100, mind you, but you should still be prepared for it. For you see, while Varglets are indeed limited to spawning 3 additional hounds no matter what, they can still call in special hounds and obviously add to the frantic nature of quote-unquote random waves moving forward. But manage to kill them, no, and it appears their loot will be similar to normal Vargs. 1 to 3 hound teeth, and 4 to 6 monster meats. Not bad. Still very dangerous though, so good luck. But here's a whole topic I really wasn't expecting to share so much spotlight in all this. Turf. I know a guy who's going to be both overjoyed and quite annoyed with all these tweaks, as turf just became easier than ever to amass. For one thing, all players, and yes, even non-wort survivors now, can craft marsh turf with reeds and rots. Not only that though, pay mind to how many pieces of turf are actually being made per craft to notice that each build now equates to 4 turf total each time. A huge and much welcome change that we have been asking for years at this point. And to add to this, keen eyes might have noticed too that we can now hold double the amount of turf per stack over the original non-beta branch. This is also massive once more, as it saves so much inventory space when turfing nowadays. Great stuff all around. Oh, and as a friendly reminder here, remember that all turf crafts can now be prototyped and crafted wherever we want, even without being near the terra firma tamper, mind you, following the initial build. Take advantage. But it ain't all sunshine and rainbows, however, as turf has also been nerfed, believe it or not. For you see, turf used to add 17% fuel to fires, but now that is down to a mere 3%. And that's pretty darn significant, honestly. So make notes. But what are some other changes, you ask? Well, Sneaky Guy Clay actually tossed in a pretty big change to the seed packet, as before it was just a new 14-slot storage device for seeds and seeds alone to kind of free up fridges, and while it's still kind of exactly that, it now spoils said seeds 25% slower than normal. Still not as good as a fridge, mind you, but it's obviously a markup better than it used to be. So enjoy any farmers out there. While we mentioned it the other day in relation to the Ancient Guardian fight changes, I would like to remind folk again that graves no longer block anything anymore. Seriously, it is like the solid stone of the would-be gravestones don't exist, so be careful with that. Potted ferns went from costing 5 ferns and 1 broken shell to now costing 2 ferns instead, while the potted succulent essentially did the same thing, only you know, it requires actual succulents instead of ferns in comparison. It's great for base designs, I'm sure. However, I am kind of surprised by the fact that potted succulents still require a fish-out blueprint from the Oasis Lake to create at the end of the day. And that's mostly because of this next change and reminder about how some quote-unquote blueprint-esque crafts now work. Folks, all bird types in the game no longer have a chance to drop those little advert things for sea fishing floats. Heck, not even Moose Goose or the Melbatross will, and theirs were always guaranteed back in the day. But why is this now? Well, because the new crafting menu / system is here to provide quote unquote more freedom to us, and in doing so, has made it to where these lures and floats are craftable immediately and prototyped forever just like turf. It's a neat change, sure. Accessibility is really good. I'm just saying that perhaps some other crafts could be in need of it. If you went this far, why not go a little bit further? Cause I mean, you already made boating and seafaring a massive component of this game, practically scienceless across the board. Seriously, as a reminder, we can make boats, boat patches, and oars, things that are all way better than they used to be, without any science whatsoever. To add to that conversation, things like the waterfowl can and feathery canvas and indeed the winged sail can all be made without any blueprints from the Melbatross, because the Melbatross no longer drops any blueprints, mind you. But some rapid fire changes, everybody. We can now turn on literally every single event at once if we wish, which is, well, quite the changeover, just being able to switch to them whenever we wanted. Roads can now be completely disabled if you do so choose, and this is definitely for all them base builders out there. Make it look nice, folks. 3 refinements: marble beans, beeswax, and wax paper, no longer accessible via science machines. We need an alchemy engine. They also made repairing with wood-based resources a little better, something I have yet to mention, but doing so right now before I myself go down with the ship. One of the best changes they've ever made, everybody, is the fact that cookie cutter shells now drop said cookie cutter shells way more often, and my goodness, thank you, Clay. And a reminder of how deer clops can now kinda sorta no longer hit us if we're standing in, well, the right direction. Again, we can be right up on this guy, but if he's not facing us, he can't really hit us unless we are straight up right on top of him. That's kinda huge, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, but again, if you're right on top of him, you can still get hit. But before we go, I would like to point out one last thing or two and then clarify another. Recent hotfixes have added a separate auto pause option for this new crafting menu specifically, leading to a situation where we no longer have to be forced to choose to take a break and stop literally everything when we want to craft one thing, or have no pausing at all in general. Now that's a quality of life fix right there, folks. But yes, some clarification. To pin stuff, just click the recipe to highlight it, and then click an open slot at the right there. The pin slots. There's no need to click the stars, as I said a couple days ago, as those are for the literal favorites tab in the crafting menu itself. So make notes. And finally, a super duper recent hotfix added small resource pop-outs for the pin recipes themselves, and I like it. I like it a lot. But have fun with more than what I covered here today too, mind you, as there's still a whole mess of stuff to play around with, folks. They are still planning on more Wolfgang changes. They moved crafts around to different tabs or science levels. They adjusted how often wave attacks even happen, and then some. In short, folks, I really implore you to read all these changes yourself, as they just keep coming. And chances are, more are right around the corner, everyone. So I imagine we will be right here seeing one another again very soon. For now, however, I thank you for watching, and please enjoy this massive update when you get the chance. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.